Trump was grown up by Israel, and that's where you get, well, the red, white, and blue is a big thing. Now they're talking about that Israel is going to try to fire upon Iran. And the thing is that Iran is a very advanced country technologically. Believe it or not, I don't think it's half as bad as what they're talking about. It's just a place of high security and sovereignty. And they do have technologies working for them that are not handled in modern day nations. In fact, they harbor the key to time travel. And that's the main reason why that Donald Trump and friends want to get in on Iran, is because they want a key to that technology, which they can't do it because they're not being, for one, they're not being friendly. They're not very sovereign as, say, knowing, I dare say, knowing what God is. If it was outer space, then I think then we can keep conversing about this, because that's what we're talking about, is access to outer space, the final frontier, which is just reality. I've talked about it, but we have this where people are kind of crazy, they're cuckoo. They are, well, they're infected with a lot of suggestion. Well, it's sad how that they will make an excuse if and when, it's not really if, it's more like when, an atom bomb goes off in the US or in the Americas, then they'll blame it on Iran, which it's not Iran, it's Israel, which is, it's not doing well. Israel is not doing well. The main weaponry is how that they can order people around with their money and power, right? Yeah. And what can I say? It feels like that America could be next on the list of how bad can it get, I mean, America is suffering the worst of the worst. I mean, it's the home base and the creator of the quiet war using the silent weaponry, and that weaponry can be just the people and the way they're programmed up. Yeah, so the main narrative out there, which they have to say something, trying to talk about something which it can get twisted up and take it with a grain of salt, I guess, but it's an excuse to create something. You can create a problem somewhere with nuclear arms and then blame it on Iranians. Kind of like with the 9/11 thing. To begin with, to live by hearsay is remarkable. It's like walking in a sleepwalk if everybody believes what they're told, kind of a thing. See, the saying goes, children know the truth until they start believing what they're told. And that's kind of just a mechanism. It's a phenomena of, if you have all of your senses hooked up right, that's just the order of things, like it's just the natural order of things. Doesn't necessarily need to be told everything. That's the thing. It's remarkable to look into the language, the realm of language, and why it's there. I was talking about it on the last video that got a lot of likes, I think, and I didn't really round it up good enough. I have a nice scattered video, but what I'm trying to talk about is a pretty deep subject matter. It's a problem. Now they call it Babylon. If you want to talk about Babylon, which is pointing at some of the subject matter, I mean, really, it's all of it, really. The problem of mouth noising, let's just say that, and talking. It's not all one huge garbage heap. No, there's a reason for talking, see, but there's also unreason behind talking, see. It doesn't need a rhyme or a reason behind it for it to be there, except for to deceive, right? And so that subject matter, let's talk about it, whatever, but see, but when do we take it so seriously? Now we have to take it seriously because we use communications devices and we have to communicate to start getting things in some kind of order amongst the chaos. If creation was ever chaos, then communications would bring order, and that is just the truth. If you want to get it into some heavy-duty language and pull up the nature of it, you can use the word chaos correctly and explain it as, hey, how do you like I've got my chalkboard in the background that is on chaos mode, which is just, okay, you want to talk about outer space, just the space itself, the mind will not pick it up because it's too much probability. If that's something to say, but it's more like it's too much chaos, it's too much possibility, like truth could be anywhere at any time. So just ignore that. Thank God we have something that sticks things together, and things stay on the table, and my cat lays on the floor. And anyway, why do I talk about this? No, it's a very serious problem that 92% of modern day people are unaware, I guess. It's kind of the movement that will never die as long as there's the possibility of people knowing and making a breakthrough. Through communications is how we do it. We're kind of people that talk about stuff like reality and the truth and it being the possibility that it is God itself. Why not bring that up, and try and bring it back up into a possibility anyway, because there's a lot of people that are atheist, and if you knew what those two words were, it's at heist, you know that, right? They are robbed of their own minds, to tell you the truth. So their imaginations is what they believe, right, runs away with their mind, and they're too filled up with a suggestion to bring in the possibility of their own connection and experiencing, right? So that's the danger of being told, kids, and even trying to study and reach out through language, because, language and talking is just a pastime. It's kind of a celebration, right? I mean, how would you ever know what anybody was talking about unless you had an experience first? I'm pretty sure that I've talked about this before. And is it a subject matter that we should dare talk about? I mean, is it interesting? Probably not right now, but when Uranus goes into Gemini, there's going to be something that will float to the top, and it will be this conversation between two types of people. Really, it's called Buddhism, but it's actually a conversation about these two types, which is your subject matter of, really, we're getting into, you love your narcissism, right? Well, these are people that are fully encapsulated minds. That's what Sam Vaknin talks about it. But, we're looking at a problem of language, and I say they're fully encapsulated awarenesses by the mind. Their awareness is fully encapsulated. Now, they can break out of the mind. See, that's the idea behind that. They need to get their language down right, because mind in and of itself is fully encapsulated. And if awareness finds itself inside of the mind and can't get out, because the mind is very coercive and cunning and a liar and all of this, just to try and be more real than now, it's going to coax awareness itself, which is now itself, into it. And there you go with now corruption of a perfectly great opportunity called outer space and or reality, where it's the same for everybody. You can try to bullshit a kid, but after a while, no, they know the truth until they start believing what they're told. It's going to be a substantial conversation. I think it should enter into every single courtroom. Somebody needs to break out a real conversation and say, click, by the way, why do you think that I can tell the truth and that this is real? Because it's all hearsay, kind of a thing. And unless we do have cameras and stuff like that, wow, go for it. And then, but can we take care of our own little spats and disputes? And can we get better, as a society, really? Where are these problems existing and where are they going? If it's something like, poverty and starvation and stuff, who's causing it? Well, I think society needs to wake up and has something to do with how that it's running. I don't think that they should think that it's not running itself, even from one neighborhood to the next. That's where I'm having to explain and say, no, I was doing quality control. I mean, I've been there the longest, and I didn't forget why we come up to the mountains. Sorry, I'm going to that subject matter again. But I'll let you know what happens. I have a big day tomorrow, and I'm going to put this video up um, on Wednesday. Pardon me, I'm looking at my cat who she has something in her nose or something sneezing. And, I hope you enjoy these volcanoes. I don't know why I wanted to say volcano, but videos. Um, Maybe volcanoes may go off. We're having some Mars transits where the Mars-ruled people are actually calm through this Mars Uranus transit. That's kind of the way it goes with us Mars-ruled people, us Aries. If you definitely have an Aries rising, well, the later degree, you're really feeling it. If you're at the later degree of like 27, 28, if I remember right. See, because Uranus is going into later degree Taurus and finishing up there, and is going to hit Gemini by July. It's in fresh new territory now, and there's threat, like I was trying to tell you in the beginning, of war in the air, and they could very much ruin a perfectly nice day in the United States, at anywhere, anytime, and blame it on Iran, and just because, why? Well, some other continent and place will shine as the best place to be and go. And probably already is there. They're just looking at the weird scene over there called America and whatever else going on. Kind of tainted, if you will. There's not all people that are that bad off, with the programming. And yeah, so, because if you can imagine, they could be experiences that are not so depleting or draining on us, right? Maybe they feel good to be around, but have mercy on those people, right? Because they are probably always being attacked, and I hate to talk about it like that. I mean, there's a lot going on in the air astrologically. And so anyway, yeah, I will hopefully be through some major stuff, having stood up for myself, and just really stick with the truth and give them my suggestion, I guess, and really tell my story, plead my case. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. While other people kind of exaggerate and tell a lie, that's a given because they are fooling themselves thinking that they're going to get things done merely by talking. And it's too late for that. If you're over there at the judge Cracker Jack box house over there getting people to try to do a puppet show or something, and that's terrible. I will say it once again, it's a satanic system, Antichrist all the way. We could talk about that, what really is Antichrist. A lot of people think that these are figures, but they can be, but they're, anyway, it's anything that, it's like a finger pointing at the moon, if the finger says that I am the moon, I am the truth, then that is Antichrist. It's not the finger, it's the moon that, if you're just looking at the finger, you're going to miss all the glory of the moon. And that's how you would miss the glory of the truth and or God, because you have an Antichrist there saying, yeah, and by the way, it's me, you know what I mean? So I don't even want to tell you where I've been, it's like, well, sometimes it's interesting, but sometimes it's not. Do you ever think it all for yourself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, maybe? Be careful. Talk about having to go to court and defend yourself. Whew. Well, if it's flipped upside down, where if you say the truth or you tell the truth, that it's too painful and you could go to jail for what, for people who are against it. Yeah, they don't like to hear the truth, and they don't like to hear even about God or anything, and they just don't like to be happy, I guess. It's like, well, what the hell do we do? Get beat up by these fucking people? I say no. Somehow fight fire with fire, and thanks for listening to all this. We just got it past minute 22. And, well, we're just coming off of that Mars-Uranus square. It's still kind of in the air. But like I said, the Mars-ruled people, the ones that you'd think they're always heated up and are full of temper. No, it's relaxed for us now. What we do is we're watching everybody else go kind of fly off the handle because of just the aspect in the air. It's hard to explain why that is like that for us, except for it does, take tension off of us, and it puts things at home with other people because they're most likely riding on us. And it's like, no, there's going to be some stresses that will come up that has nothing to do with I or you, or let's find out what it is that keeps us hanging in this web of misery, pardon me. If it ever was the financial system, there's my kitty cat right there laying there. It's hard to tell the shape she's in, but she's laying there. Hey, send money because my situation is not looking any very bright. I would love to talk to somebody about it, but will they give me enough money for that to happen? I don't know. I will disclose some. It's kind of weird. I think that I'm onto something when I'm trying to set up social media for us all to open up a banking system based in an identified entity that is singularized because it did it through communications. There is I almost want to say bracket, but there's quotes and there's a sign of a whole other different looking language. Yeah. That will start to riddle, and it does riddle if you take the freedom to capitalize anywhere, anytime, and just trust what I'm saying about start with the vowels, but have fun with the birds and the words, and there's a time to do it. I haven't really gotten into you and to tell you what exactly I mean, but I know exactly what I mean. I've been doing it, and it's remarkable. If you can get deep with it, then the best thing that can happen is that you kind of become a contagion to others around you. If you're really unlocking with the keys, so you're undoing perception that I call it warlocked earlier. You're going to undo it because the math that's there. My cat's eating food over there. Like with the A-E-I-O-U capitalized and just the I being down, but if you notice the patterns that are there with suffixes, particularly suffixes are interesting, but no prefixes are very much something to consider. There's a pattern there. There's a certain structure that shows up. There's a mathematic equation that's there that it's not pointing at numbers, it's pointing at symbols that I've been trying to tell you about on my Earth interfacing system videos, that because I'm talking about it very little here, the last 3 minutes I'm going to put it on that playlist because I know that this trend has to start. See, it starts with people becoming, technically have become enlightened to where they can understand the equations that are preset inside of the English language, how that it's supposed to be written. Now, one way that we don't know that is how it's supposed to be written is you're free to capitalize anywhere, anytime. That is to point at something simplified to where it's, I hate to say it, but it's like getting back to the mind of a child or the basics, but no, it gets pretty darn complex. But the whole way that civilization looks can be altered into, well, everything that you think that's missing, like because things have been reversed now, really what's missing is real medicine and real foods and a real life and a real connection and a real experience. I mean, really, we've gotten so far away from the real, really, and that we're talking about real science here. Okay, thanks for listening.